Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. I have today for you this really nice cake in two colors, layers and custard filling. And of course we're gonna start with the dough. And I told you that we have dough in two colors, so I'm gonna show you step by step how to do it. I'm gonna use 450 grams of flour, 200 grams of yogurt or sour cream. You can use either yogurt or sour cream, 15 grams of baking powder, 3 grams of salt, 30 grams of cocoa powder, 150 grams of sugar, 150 grams of melted butter. So these are the ingredients for the dough. And I'm gonna put sugar in a bowl, followed by yogurt, and I'm gonna start mixing these ingredients. I'm adding some salt now. Every cake needs some salt, so I'm adding now some salt. I'm gonna start mixing using my mixer, and that sugar is gonna start dissolving. And I will start adding melted butter, but it's cooled down, and continue to mix. And it's gonna start looking like almost like a cream, what we have here, like a filling, you know, really creamy and thick. So keep on mixing. The sugar will start to dissolve. Next I have baking powder, and I'm adding that over the rest of the ingredients. So I'm gonna take in a separate bowl about 3.5 tablespoons of flour, and I'm gonna reserve these for later. And now I get back with my mixer and I start adding flour over the batter. I'm gonna use the mixer as much as I can, and when it's gonna be too hard on my mixer, I'm gonna just use my hands to incorporate all that flour. I'm gonna knead the dough really well, adding flour and making sure that I incorporate all the flour in the dough. The dough is nice and soft, and after you knead it a few good minutes, it's not gonna stick anymore to your fingers. I'm splitting now the dough in half, and because I am OCDing a lot, I'm using the scale to split it in equal parts. You don't have to do this, you can do it by eye, but yeah, I'm using a scale. So I measured the other piece of dough. Okay, we're good. In one half I'm gonna add the flour that we reserved, the other half I'm gonna add cocoa powder. So on the table, put all that flour that I reserved, and I'm gonna incorporate it in one of the doughs. Keep on kneading, and the flour will totally get incorporated in that dough. And I'm gonna proceed the same way with cocoa powder. Just knead it in the other half of the dough. Knead for a few minutes until you have it all incorporated. So this is how the two pieces of dough look like. I'm gonna split each of those in 3 equal parts using again my scale. And as you can see, I have 6 pieces of dough. Each of these I'm gonna roll them on a baking paper in a really thin layer, as thinnest as you can, and try to stretch each piece of dough the same as the others. Pinch the dough with a fork and bake them in the preheated oven on the back of the baking tray for about 7 minutes, not longer than that. They just need to have a tiny bit of color on the edges, and they will continue to cook after you took them out of the oven. They will be nice and crispy, so try not to mess with them too much because they will break. So do the same with the rest of the dough. Stretch them out really thin on baking paper, pinch them with a fork, and bake them for 7 minutes at 180 Celsius. I'm baking them, each of them at a time, and while one is baking, I'm stretching another piece of dough, and so on. I will let them cool down, and in the meantime I'm gonna make the filling. And for this I need 500 milliliters of milk, 150 grams of sugar, 45 grams of cornstarch, 150 grams of sour cream with at least 14% fat, again a pinch of salt, and I'm gonna add a teaspoon of vanilla sugar. You can use vanilla extract if you have. And in a tiny pot I put sugar, and I'm gonna mix it with cornstarch. This way the filling will be nice and smooth. We're not gonna have any lumps and clumps in our filling. Add 1 teaspoon of vanilla sugar. I'm gonna add some salt, just a tiny bit of salt, and pour over the milk. Put this on the stove on low fire. Continue to mix with a whisk until the filling is gonna be nice and thick. Do not let this unsupervised on the stove because it's gonna burn and it's gonna taste bad. So keep on mixing, and as you can see the whisk is leaving traces in the cream. I'm gonna take the whisk out. I need to let this cool down, but I do not want that skin to form on top, so I'm using some cling wrap, and to prevent that skin to form, just make sure that you touch with a cling film the custard underneath, and let it cool down completely. You need to have it completely cold at room temperature. It will get a lot more thicker as it cools down. As you can see, I put it now in a mixing bowl, and I'm gonna use my my mixer. Again, it's gonna be super nice and smooth. And I will add now sour cream. I recommend you to use sour cream that has at least 14% fat. If you have with a higher percent of fat, better. Your filling is gonna be tastier, creamier, so yummier. So put sour cream now over the custard and mix it for a minute, making sure that it's all incorporated. And this is gonna go in between all those baked sheet of dough. And to assemble the cake now, I alternate the dough that we baked, the layered dough that we baked, and in between them I put the filling, level it nicely with a spatula or a knife. This cake is not gonna be one that you can serve right away, because the baked dough needs time to rehydrate from the filling. So I'm gonna cover it with some baking paper. You can put something on top of it that's a bit heavier, so the layered dough to stay nice and make contact with the filling. The same day you can trim the edges. And I'm gonna make a glaze as well with 50 grams of dark chocolate. I'm gonna break it in smaller pieces and have it in a bowl. And I'm gonna melt these on water bath. As you can see, I put a bowl over a tiny pot in which I have boiling water. The base of the bowl doesn't touch the water underneath. Give it a few minutes and the chocolate will just melt away. And I'm gonna add just a tiny bit of butter over to make it creamier and nicer. And I'm gonna pour all of these over the cake and level it with a knife. You can put the cake in this stage glazed up in the fridge for about 15 minutes for that glaze to set. And after you can start slicing your cake. We like to do it in smaller pieces because this cake can be served with a fork, but also people just grab it and you know, like finger food, just enjoy it. I really hope you're gonna make the cake as well, and you're gonna let me know in the comments how it turned out. Make sure to let it until next day, so the layered baked dough to be nice and soft, so you can cut the cake in nice slices. And yeah, take your time and enjoy it after with family and friends. I hope you're gonna try it out. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, find reasons to smile, and I'm gonna see you here next time with another recipe. Bye bye.